All right, it is 6:30. Welcome, everybody. Hey, y'all, I'm back. Hey, YouTube family. I missed y'all last week. But as you all know, I was with family, but I'm back now, and we have another good segment for you guys today. Um, my name is Laura, for those of you who don't know me. If this is your first time on our channel, please click the subscribe button and like our videos. Go back and watch them, get some good information on how to be your own money manager. We're excited to have you. A few housekeeping things: join our conversation. Drop a comment in the comment section below. Say, hey, I have some stuff I want to talk about. We would love to reach out to you. If you have any questions about your financial situation, we are here to help you. You can email us at wearephoenix, FENIX 2017 at gmail.com. Catch us every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Catch our male counterparts, the Fathers and Finances, on Tuesdays at 6:30, and Singles and Soaring every fourth Saturday at 8 p.m. Right? Oh yeah, I want to roll, y'all. I'm feeling good. Uh, yes. So we at Mommies and Money, I would love to share with you our mission statement. We are in pursuit of excellence and the breaking of generational curses by empowering women and mothers through financial education to ensure a better future. So we use this platform to talk about fun stuff, serious stuff, money stuff, which is the most important thing. We want you guys to feel comfortable with your finances, feel comfortable with knowing how to deal with your own finances. Like I said, becoming your own money manager. This is a judgment-free zone. We are here to welcome you, to help you learn about the stuff that we just don't know about. I'm in my 30s, and there was a lot of stuff about money, and I still don't know. Okay, we are not all knowing, but if we don't know, we know somebody who does know, and if they don't know, they know somebody who knows, right? So we are here to just uplift each other, uplift women, mothers, those who are mothers in training, like the lovely Tanisha Steiger, my co-host here, single, married, whatever the case may be. So we are here to just have a conversation. We are here to just put the spotlight on how to basically be financially free. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it to our co-host, Miss Tanisha. Could you tell our wonderful viewers, our lovely guests, what our topic is today?
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate the shout out. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and there's some guys who are probably watching this as well, we are talking about one Financial Parent Academy that was created by our very own Sheena Robinson, a mother of three. She had a fantastic idea and just executed that plan to just help us all be able to know more about our finances and what we should do as being a mom or a dad, and how we teach our children finances. So we're actually going to be spotlighting her, as well as what her Financial Parent Academy is, and as well for the stay-at-home moms. So becoming financially independent as a stay-at-home mom might sound like it can never happen, but it can. Just have to learn how to believe and have faith in yourself. So that is our topics for this evening. So I'm excited.
Okay, well, let's jump right into it. Thank you, Miss Tanisha. You brought up something that it's kind of on the forefront for everyone, to be honest with you, being a stay-at-home parent or a mother. And what the pandemic has taught us recently is that, shucks, when we're stuck in the house, what are we going to do? Right. And so we're going to hop into that a little bit in a second. I'm going to go through the wonderful presentation that Sheena put together for us. If I can just share my screen, give me 1 second. I'm going to go away, but I'll be right back.
She's going to go away and she'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. So all you have is me. And hopefully it'll be all the entertainment that you need. This is perfectly fine, but we're all here to learn. Technology has been Oh, good evening, Marcus Hunt. See if those men are listening. Good evening, Marcus.
Right. Hey, Marcus. Thanks for joining us. Okay. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can, ma'am.
Awesome. This is the wonderful, beautiful Sheena Robinson, the creator of the Financial Parenting, the book that she has, which we'll highlight in a second, and Financial Parent Academy. So this is actually her brainchild. She came up with this idea, and I'm just going to go through a few things with you guys so we can, oh, you know what? Here we go. All right. Let's rewind. So back in 1980s, Americans were conformed to a way of life that was suited for that period. But today, people are realizing the need for a better way of living. After the 2008 financial crisis, many families found themselves having to choose between eating or paying a bill. Americans learned that it was no longer a good idea to not have a solid foundation. And as a result of the financial crisis, families needed solutions. So if you fast forward to 2020 with coronavirus and COVID-19 and Delta now that we're dealing with, we need to be prepared, right? Because it just kind of took us off guard, and a lot of people were just basically, didn't know what to do. They didn't have a savings. They didn't have emergency funds. And so this is why what we're sharing is very important. So today, according to the American Household 2014 statistics, credit card debt ranks the third highest type of debt in households. Only mortgage and student loans are actually higher. So according to an article written by Jeff Ellis for CNN, 28% of Americans have no emergency savings. With only 17 states requiring students to make some type of financial course upon graduating high school, there is a great need for financial education in the household. So meaning you graduated high school, and meaning you come out of school having no knowledge of how to deal with your finances, right? So it's imperative that we teach our children, because their financial future begins with us in the household. So we don't want to, after graduation, to get into more debt, but because we don't know what's going to happen, we're going to get into more debt, right? So what is a financial parent? A financial parent is a parent who decides to intentionally engage in building their children's financial mindset, spending habits, financial goals, and their financial future. So the key word here is intentional. What we teach our children at home will carry with them the rest of their lives, right? And we want them to have a strong financial future or strong financial foundation. That way they can make positive positive choices, when they become older. So we want them to be good stewards of their money, right? Because basically they build habits based off of what is taught and what they see. For an example, when I was growing up, and I don't know if you saw this too, Tanisha, but when we were at the grocery store, my mom would pay with a check, and then she would write down what she just spent in her checkbook. And then later she went back and showed me, okay, well, this is how you balance a checkbook. I know some people don't even know what a check is nowadays. These young whippersnappers look. These young whippersnappers don't even know what a check is, but she showed me basically how to balance a checkbook and say, hey, this is what you have in your account. After you spend this money, you subtract this, that, and the other. And so I developed good saving habits or good spending habits based off of what my mother showed me. What about you, Tanisha? Did your parents show you anything like that?
Actually, very much true. I still remember my first checkbook when I was, because I started my first savings account when I was a kid. It had a dinosaur on it. I know that it had a green dinosaur on it. It was at a credit union my father worked at AT&T, and that's how I learned how to sit there and actually balance a checkbook.
Oh, that's so cute. Well, my first moments with money was my piggy banks, but my mom, according to her, all I wanted to do was spend. So that's a whole nother conversation. Moving on. Do you want your child to be a super saver or a consumer? So, again, like I said before, your child develops habits based off of what they see. My mom always told me I wanted to spend my money and I never wanted to save it. And I would blame television commercials. What I saw on TV, I wanted it. And so, again, she had to go ahead and reinforce the things that she taught me, like, hey, this is how you save. This is how you balance. This is what you do with your money. So what mindset is your child birthing, or are your children birthing? Do you want them to have a super saver mindset or a consumer mindset? Because basically what you teach your kids is going to constantly be in competition with the outside influences. Like, I mean, and with everything technology has to offer, there are ads everywhere. I swear, even in my Bible app, every single time I click on a scripture, I have to go through a 30-second ad. So everything is pulling your attention, pulling your influence, and we have to be diligent and disciplined when it comes to our spending. So there are 5 phases of financial development. You have your planning, your foundation, independent, transitioning, and coaching phase. We're not going to get into all of those. We're going to focus on 2 of them, the planning and the coaching. So your planning is basically your initial plans of how their financial future will be set up, showing them, again, how to save, showing them where to save. You have the example of, starting out their savings account or a checking account, or a growth account and things of that nature. And then your coaching phase, that's you as the parent being that financial advocate and mentor before your child grows up and well into adulthood. So when they turn 18, it's not, okay, sayonara, you're grown, you're on your own. It's like, no, you want to continue to develop their spending habits as an adult. When I graduated high school, the first mail that I would get with just my name on it was credit cards. And what happened? I fell into credit card debt. Why? Because I didn't know any better. I didn't know how to manage that. And so me as a parent now, I teach my son, like, hey, when you get that first, thing in the mail that's talking about credit and this, that, and the other, like, now you know how to deal with it. You know that you don't want to get your credit cards and then max them out. And then now you're paying a crazy percentage, to bring it back down. And you have all of those things, right? So you want to coach your children well into adulthood, not just until they're 18. Okay. So as I had spoke earlier about Miss Sheena Robinson, the beautiful young lady who came up with this concept in this program, this is her book, Financial Parenthood, The Keys to Raising a Rich Kid. She calls it the 21st Century Financial Parent Guide. So basically from day one up until adulthood, these are their tools in this book that helps you prep your children, how to handle their finances, where to save, how to save, where to save it in, what type of accounts and other tools that you can use in order to do so. And not just accounts, but there are other tools out there, and we'll get into that in a second. So going back to what is a financial parent, we have a 3P philosophy: your planning, prevention, and profits. So let's go to the first one, planning. You have your education and you have your accounts. Let's see. Your education, like previously, the previous slide showing Sheena's book, that is part of your education. You have tools just like that book out there. It's not the end all be all, but there are things out there, books out there, tools out there that you can utilize in order to grow your education when it comes to your finances. Like I said before, I'm in my 30s and there's a lot that I didn't know, but with this platform that we have here, there's so many ways to gain your education and knowledge when it comes to being financially free. And then moving on, you have your accounts. So your accounts, think about your child's needs and their wants. College, if you want them to have money to save for a down payment on a house, if they want to have a car, you want to get them thinking about what kind of accounts they need in order to grow their money, build their money, save their money in order to obtain those things, right? Let's see. Let's move on to the prevention. So when it comes to prevention, it's important to understand terminology. Like I was telling you before, using myself as an example always, I didn't know about credit card debt. And so that's part of prevention. Get your child acclimated to hearing familiar financial terminology, right? I didn't know about inflation and things like the taxes and, having an accountant and, all of those things that are still somewhat foreign to an adult, to be honest with you. Right. Right. All of those things. And you want to get your child familiar and acclimated to hearing financial terminology. So when they are an adult in their 20s, 30s, they understand what's going on. And lastly, your profits. So here are the accounts that I had mentioned. You have your fun account, you have an emergency account, and you have a scheduled account. So how many accounts do your children have? Well, let's talk about the fun account. The fun account is you use it and your child can save for whatever it is they want to save it for. For example, my son is 12. He's always asking me for a video game or a PlayStation gift card, right? So it's like, hey, save up. And this is your fun account. I mean, what fun is it to have money and you can't spend it, right? At all. So have a fun account to where, like, okay, I'm going to reward myself, right? Or I'm just going to have fun. Why? Because I saved up and I can. So that is your fun account. Then you have your emergency account, and it is exactly what it is, set up for emergencies only. For example, adults need emergency accounts because what happens if something breaks down? The car, the refrigerator, you need a plumber. You know what I mean? For the child, it's just important to develop good saving habits and say, hey, this is money that you absolutely cannot touch unless you absolutely have to. And then you have your scheduled account. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. But with your scheduled account, this is the money that gains interest. That rule of 72, the rate of return that Tanisha was throwing out there. And actually, I'm going to have her explain to you guys what that is in a second. But you want your money growing in a place like this. Why? Because you don't want your kids to be broke when they become an adult, do you? No, of course not. You want them to be financially set up. You want to have, these are the kind of accounts where you can leave legacies behind in, right? You want to build them up from day one up until adulthood and then show them that, hey, this is something that you can take over. And then this is something that, hey, you can start for your own children, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So that 21st century wealth tool that Sheena talks about in her book, it has characteristics of each of the products and all in one, basically. It's like a bank, it's your insurance, and it's your investments because it's growing with that compound interest. So really quickly, here are some of the financial parent benefits. Create a financially secure child. It helps with decision making. It builds discipline, closer relationship with that child, better quality of life, passes down wealthy habits, and so on. So some of the things that stick out to me: build strong work ethic. If I'm going to put myself on blast and talk about my child, this is a very important one for me. Strong work ethic for my son, because I want him to see how to build or have a strong work ethic and really just put his mind to something and reach his goals, right? So saving, he can see that he's saving, he can see that he's reaching his goals, and he can continue to do so into adulthood. Better quality of life. Who doesn't want a better quality of life, right? Having that peace of mind, having security. So those are some of the things that stick out to me as a financial parent. I know, Tanisha, you're an MIT, but as an MIT and as an aunt, as a godmother, what are some of the benefits that stick out to you?
Honestly, I like to me, creating a financially secure child, building discipline, that's a big thing, as well as passing down wealthy habits. Because we all
That's
know
awesome.
that you may have a kid, and the circle of life is going to come back around, and they're going to have a kid for themselves. So why
Right.
not know what you should be doing as a child? You get to the older stages of the adulthood. Mom, dad, thank you for showing me the ways. Now we can make a better financial decision in my own future. So that takes me to what I need to do for myself, what I need to do for the person I decide to marry, and then what I got to do for the person or the life that we're going to bring into this world. So that circle of life is probably more like very, very important to me.
Actually, to be honest with you, that's awesome. And all of these things are important.
Very
Every
much so.
single last one, I would actually have to say they're equally important, because basically what you want is a child grow up plan, and you want to pass down, like you said, wealthy habits. You want to pass down those legacies, and you want that to continue on even into the next generation and that next generation after that. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we'll get into what that wealth tool is. Ta-da!
So there's a lot of things that comes down to what that wealth tool is. And that wealth tool, I'm going to be showing you guys a little quick 2-minute video about that. And another thing, most parents, most moms, as we all know, take care of all the finances. So majority, I'm gonna say like 97%, because there might be 2% of men that was like, no, I got this, like don't worry about it. But I haven't heard that many stories. so I'm gonna let that one just keep rolling. But most mothers take care of everything for their child. Most children do not know that mom is the foundation. Like mom is the one that's going to pass down those habits. Mom is going to be the one that you go to the bank with. Mom is going to be the one that you're sitting here looking at while she's doing her, I don't know, she's paying her bills. You might be over there asking questions like, what is that? And what does APR mean? And a lot of questions, which again can be answered if, we have complimentary workshops Monday through Friday, sometimes 3 times a day, sometimes twice a day. So no excuses. And that goes to the whole stay-at-home moms. Stay-at-home moms. I don't know exactly what happens with stay-at-home moms. This is me personally. It seems like a lot goes on in their day. There's never any time. That's pretty much the excuse I've heard from stay-at-home moms. Actually, from mothers in general. There's never any time. I have to, I've seen and heard from even my own mentor who, takes her child goes to camp, her daughter's going to swim classes, she has tutoring, she has Kumon, so mom has really the time for herself is kind of non-existent because it's all wrapped around the children, right? My question is, Laura, and anyone who's out there who wants to be able to answer this question, do you think that you could be financially free as a stay-at-home mom?
I think so. With the pandemic, it's been kind of eye-opening lately, just because everything is shut down or people are very scared, uncertain about a lot of things. So one could probably feel a little discouraged
And you say
And
discouraged, does that mean like they are like, don't feel like they're contributing to
I
the well-being of the family, or is that more so they have certain jobs that are expected? I'm only asking people because I don't know. I'm not a mom just yet, so.
I would say it's kind of, so I say yes because I am a hopeful person. I say yes that it is possible that you could create financial freedom, or what was the question again? You said financial
Expectations.
stability.
Yeah, like,
Okay. As a stay-at-home mother, I would say the reason why people can get discouraged is because it can sometimes look like it's impossible, because it's like, okay, well, where do I start? How do I perhaps build a business? Who's going to listen to me? How do I get this started? And I can't put myself out there technically because we're locked down, or there are still a lot of stipulations. Well, here in Georgia, I mean, we're wide open, but in other places, I get it, and even here too, because people are still very cautious, still very, reserved. And that's just my take on it. I would say that's the reason why some people are discouraged, mainly because you just don't know where to begin. But
right.
if you have the tools, if you had the opportunity, if there were individuals out there, hint hint, wink wink, nudge nudge, that are available to kind of help you, and move you in the right direction, why wouldn't you take advantage? Why wouldn't you want to know more? So that's just my take on it.
I mean, and I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense. And when it comes down, the fact of the matter, it has. I'm trying to remember how I'm gonna sit there and say this. So, like, when you decide that you want to be financially independent, you have to address the issues that are causing you to feel the way that you feel as a mom. If you feel like there's no time, why is it there no time? If there feels like when like ours becomes yours, the partner of the relationship, and that attitude we already know sometimes doesn't work very well, and because it seems like you're dependent on the other partner, but the other partner doesn't see you as an asset. They just see you as like the mother of their children, or um, the housewife, not knowing that what you do actually is very much so important, because less to me, and I mean, this is just, I'm not saying it's just my opinion, but I look at this like there has to be someone taking care of the kids. Like you can't just give the kid, put them on a patio, lock the door, and be like, okay, here's a water bowl, food bowl, you'll be all right. Let me give it like 8 hours later. No one does that. I'm pretty sure that's child cruelty. And when and like, when it comes down to being a stay-at-home mom, like you have to also take charge of take in fact that maybe the significant other may not had everything going in their direction when they were single, i.e. like
Mm-hmm.
they co-sign a mortgage, they co-sign a credit card, something of that sort, and use your credit that might have been great, and now you're kind of in between, you know making sure that one, that you get insurance for yourself, as well as making sure that your kids are the beneficiary. If you have a business partnership, make sure you protect that. Make sure you get, moms have to think about, okay, I might be a stay-at-home mom, but I still need a will to make sure everything's taken care of. I still need to make sure that if my business, I want to make sure it passes down to my children the right way. Is it going to, does it have a protection need? Is it actually a tax event? What are you doing to make sure that you're taking care of the taxes, what you said in the presentation before, the taxes, inflation, the robbers of your money? Do we know about these things? Do we know about the the tax advantages that you actually have, you know, coverage at the same time as the growth and safety. And most moms are very passionate about making sure their kids, again, are okay for their future. Most moms will do anything for their children. I'm saying most because, you know, there's a couple stories out there. The moms go crazy. We're not going to talk about that, but there's and that's like maybe like 0.5%, like 0.05%. So I can't say all moms, but some moms out there are a little loco. But most mothers I met actually want to make sure their children are taken care of before they even think about themselves. Like the kid has to be okay first. Make sure, like, even when you go to a restaurant, what are you going to eat? What are you hungry for? The kid's not asking mom, what are you hungry for? You know, so that's just my take on that. I know I went into a whole tangent, so I apologize for that. My fault.
It's all good, though. It's all good because you're right. I mean, moms are the ones that we hold it down, you know?
Yeah, right. And then when you become a stay-at-home mom, I'm pretty sure, and I'm saying pretty sure because I don't know the accuracy of, you kind of crave the independence that you lost before you became a stay-at-home mom.
Well,
So
shoot, you crave the independence that you lost when you became a mother. I mean, I think all women who become moms at one point has felt this way, that they've lost their identity. I mean, I would think it would be understandable that, you know, you will want to gain that back, right?
I mean, but at the same time, because you gotta remember, I'm the mommy in training. I don't know that world yet. Okay, so that's a world that I envy women who are stay-at-home moms. I envy them because, like I said before, the mother does not put herself out there. It is the child that comes first. So when it becomes the child that comes first, and you're saying you want financial independence, again, most moms don't know where to even begin because they have to figure out the schedule for the child before they think about themselves. Like prime example, if you go back to school and let's just say you just had a baby and you're trying to get your master's, most mothers go to night classes while the baby sleep. So that's when they can sit there and concentrate and be able to take care of their own business and have their time while the babies sleep. Now, let us not forget that the baby grows up. so it gets to the cute little stages where you just want to be like, you want to hold it and kiss it and so great. You get sleep throughout the night, and all of a sudden, like, you have little Rambo and he's 5 years old and he wants to jump out the crib and all these things that come into play. So it does become a little difficult sometimes to be able to find that time for you to become financially independent. Again, like I will always reiterate that the financial workshops that we have, I'm glad we have them 3 times a day. I'm glad that you could get them at 10 o'clock at night, like on certain days of the week. So you know that everyone in the house is sleeping. They're not gonna wake up till about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. Let me just focus on this. You can have your little glass of wine, your little cup of hot tea. If you want to drink a beer, whatever you want to do, but it's mommy time. And I think that's a great way to look at it. I would actually, if I could, come up with a schedule for stay-at-home moms, like a big workshop schedule for just stay-at-home moms, for them to be able to attend when they think their schedule is so crazy. Because let's just be honest, you know, no one realizes that you're ultimately contributing to the financial well-being of the family as well, because you're doing the cooking, the cleaning, the driving, I'm taking them to soccer, I'm taking them to swim, I'm taking them to gymnastics, I'm taking them, like, again, mom is superwoman, hence the flyer. So like the reason why there's an S on our chest is because we're super women. So yeah, I think that most of the time, if it was me and I was a stay-at-home mom and I was looking for financial independence, I would look for, like, we're in the financial literacy campaign, right? We're on a huge campaign to sit there and educate over 30 million families, right? I would think if I could have the option of being a stay-at-home mom, making sure my kids are okay, and I can still make a a good income, why not come to WSB? Why not get a license? I can study for my license when the kids are asleep. I can go and get my pass the date test, and make an extra income while I take care of my kids. It may seem hard, but we've gone through plenty of challenges. I know when it was a challenge when you had to push the kid out. You had a kid came to the challenge when the doctor was like, well, we're not going to do this normally. We're going to have to cut you open. This is what a C-section is, right? This one, right? They're going to cut you open. The baby's going to be fine, whatever. But for you to bring home that income to support your family, the options they're not always easy, but we here at WSB give you that option to make sure you can become financially independent. And we have the support system to back you up. So, that's just me and my intake.
No, that sounds like an awesome thing to be a part of. So how can we be a part of it? How do those watching, how can we be a part of it? And what other tools? Because we still have to highlight that 21st century tool that kind of, jump started this whole conversation. So how do you become a part of this campaign? And what are some of the tools that they utilize to help you become financially independent?
Well, thank you for asking. So one, talk to you or I about this, about what you want. Definitely will be able to take that walk with you and show you that it's very easy to join. It's very easy to become your own money manager. So you know exactly what, and I say exactly what's coming in, what's going out, how to sit there and manage your own debt, how to sit there and and get your will and create your legacy, how to make sure you have protection and build your financial foundation correctly. Just in case you have that 401k or 403b, where exactly can you put it to make sure that that taxes or your money is growing tax deferred. But you also know at the very end, you're also going to get a phone call, door knock, a brick through the window from Uncle Sam, because he's going to want his share. So when you get financially educated, your mindset starts shifting. You change the paradigm, right? When you change the paradigm, not only you see it for yourself, but now the little ones can also see what mommy is doing, and they're going to follow in the same footsteps. So I say become a financial educator. Why not? You become a financial educator. You'll be going on doing field training when you can. You'll work around your own business hours, part-time, however you can, because again, you want to sit there and bring income in when you can. We don't want, no one's going to put any extra pressure on you, but we do know that, for example, there's women who are hairdressers. They'll convert their garage or a basement to a salon and offer services around the home, around the child's schedule, right? So why not do the same thing here? There's not many of us, and I say that with, with sternness, that are African-American individuals, women at that are in the financial industry, that can and will tell you how to be financially educated. The one thing about financial literacy, and we all know back in the day, 400 years, we know we weren't allowed to read or write. But if you have the knowledge that you can possess and be able to help your fellow man or woman rise up from their ashes and give them a brighter future, why the hell not do it? It's a difference when you know information and you refuse to sit there and tell someone about it, but you make a difference or you bless somebody's life just by the fact of having that conversation about what financial education can do for you and for your children. Now, it doesn't just stop with you. Like I said before, the babies also see it too. And when babies see it, what do? They usually mimic what mom's doing, right?
Exactly.
If mom wants to go and blow $800 on Starbucks Manolos and some Jordans and some Cocoa Puffs and maybe some Frosted Flakes and a chair she may not need, your child's seeing that so we just have money to blow. Right
Right.
now is not the time to be doing that. Right now is the time where we have the biggest wealth transfer in history happening in front of our very eyes, and had people, and coming from COVID, from 2020, COVID-19. You're telling me you can survive off the stimulus check that came in? You gotta be kidding me. First of all, I would actually meet the first person who could come up to me right now and say I could survive off $600. You know what? I know my mom, my dad make some things stretch, but I don't think I could do that. Like, I'm like, wait, hold on, because I weigh a buck 30, 135, and I can eat at a house and home. I'm not gonna lie. People out there, you might not think I can, but I can. But
She can eat, y'all. She can
I
eat.
can
And me
eat.
too.
Okay. So I know my personal groceries, period, are at least $100. At least. And with inflation happening it's not like it's going to stop. Inflation's going to keep going up. At one point in time, it's not going to be the 3% that we have at state. It's going to end up being 5, 6, or 7%. So you have money in different places that you think that is safe for you, but in reality, it's not really safe. It's actually what you think is safe, but you don't know the education behind it. And if you know the education behind it, like I keep saying, I don't know what's happening. Like, it's like, what was that little thing they said on Sesame Street? Like, one of these things doesn't belong here. That's pretty much how it works when it comes down to tax now or tax deferred accounts. Like, that's pretty much because you don't know what that non-belonging factor is. And
So
once you know,
what is this tax now, tax later, tax deferred? What's an example of a tax deferred? Because we can break it down a little bit. What's tax now? What, for those of us who've had just the general knowledge of what we were brought up in: checking, savings,
mutual funds,
mutual
stocks,
bonds.
Yes,
Right.
those are taxed now. So when you think you're doing and that's just honestly, those accounts are just primarily made for easy access to me.
Okay.
Like, they're easy access. It's liquid money. So if you need to get $20 out the bank account, you can do that, right? But your money's not growing the way you think it's going to grow.
Right.
In those type of accounts.
Let's give an example of that, because I just think it funny that I had gone to my bank, excuse me, and they said, oh, well, here's a growth savings account that you can have, right? And so before I came into this campaign, I was like, yes, growth savings account. All right, what's this going to do? Right? And I come to find out it was what, 0.2% that it's saving for me. It's not even a whole percent, And what is that going to do for me in the end? What am I really saving, right? So
Nothing.
A lot of people put their trust, and there's nothing wrong. I mean, it's a great foundation. It's a great start to at least having your money. I mean, you don't want it under your mattress or in a safe in your house, which people still do that because they don't trust banks. But I mean, having an account, you have access to your money, right? You have access that right now money, right? So what's the tax later? What's the benefit of that? If I were somebody that said, hey, well, I don't trust banks.
Okay, so you say I don't trust banks, but everyone has one. So it doesn't matter. Everyone has one, because you have to pay your bills somehow. Like, no, I have not yet to see one person tell me right now that they're paying their bills because of their IRA. Not happening.
They are paying their bills through those check cashing places. They are paying their bills through
I forget those things.
Like, aren't there like apps online or something? Apps that you can pay your bills. So I don't know. People are people be paying their bills through something. Yeah.
Let me see my face. There should not be an app for that.
I'm like, wait, I'm reaching right here. I'm reaching. Okay, let's move on. Moving
on. And thank you, Delita. Yeah, you gotta know your desired market. So again, like, when it comes down to, we talked about the tax now and tax now accounts, which most people have. And there's nothing wrong with that. You need to have some type of liquid or quick access to money when
now,
you know, so when you have that emergency fund or whatever, you need to have access to that. Now, tax deferred accounts, the best way I could describe it, is you go into business with Uncle Sam. Okay. You go into business with Uncle Sam. You're pretty much, you sign a contract. He doesn't do anything. Okay. You do all the work. Like, you do all the work. If the business does great, if it fails, if you do everything that has to, like, what you should be doing when it comes to your business. Uncle Sam is just chilling in the corner. While he's chilling in the corner, again, you're going through, you're like, you know, this is going to be a great retirement. I'm excited. Like, you know, you made a nice little profit. Okay. Now at the tender age of 59 and a half, your business partner, Uncle Sam, is like, okay, you did a great job. Proud of you. Whatever. I'm just going to, like, you know, brush my shoulder off. But I'm going to need my cut now. And you over here, like, you said that we were in this together. So what do you mean? Well, yeah, your money's been growing, and it's been growing in this account. And I mean, I'm very proud of what you've done. But again, I'm gonna need my cut. I'm gonna need both my cut. I need my state and my federal.
Oh, shit.
So here you are looking over here like crazy, because one, you don't know what tax bracket you're gonna be in by the time you even get there. So that tax bracket that you thought you were in when you started the 401k, the IRA, or whatever was in a tax deferred account, may not be the same when you get to 59 and a half. So now you're paying at least 30% as of right now, at least 30% to someone who didn't do anything to help you. That's the best way I could describe what Uncle Sam does when it comes to tax deferred accounts.
Wow.
Hey, Tanisha, it's Christina. So if I can restate what you said, or just summarize it rather, what I'm hearing is that the option to do a tax deferred account or whatever is not really that beneficial. Well, I should say it's beneficial from the standpoint that, you know, if you need your money now and, you know, you don't want to pay taxes now, fine. But to your point, sometimes people can be caught off guard later with,
Right.
you know, the tax hit, maybe they didn't set aside, and you know what I'm saying? So I guess to boil it down, would you agree and say that tax deferred may not be the ideal choice if you want to be very smart in managing your money and not be caught with your pants down later?
Okay. And I'm not just going to tell you yes. Okay. In my opinion, you will, like, because you will be caught with your pants down later. You're right. But yeah, it may not be the most ideal, but so many people do it. Like, everyone does it. I've literally heard stories about, are you putting money in, like, they'll be hired or they're getting hired and HR is giving them all the information and they're like, okay, you put money away in this 401k and they match you. And however, okay, they look over at their friend like, are you doing it? And they're like, yeah, I'm doing it. And they'll do it just because, but they're not thinking about the penalties if you have to go into it. They're not thinking about when I decide to retire at 59 and a half, what's going to come out. And that's the little key factor that no one actually thinks about when they get to that point. I'm not sitting there saying they're horribly bad, because they're there for a reason, but there are other and better options. Okay, Talitha raised her hand. There are other options and better options for you to sit there and save your money at a better rate of return. Talitha, you raised your hand. Ms. Talitha McRae, you're very welcome to speak.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Christina, she asked a very good question. And so, my response to that would be, it depends. Whenever looking at financial concepts, financial plans, financial solutions and strategies, the two most important things are both affordability and suitability, right? One, what can a person afford to do? Meaning it's beyond just a short period of time. They can sustain the investment that they're in, or the savings plan or protection plan that they're in. And two, it's actually a need for it. So in contrast to a tax deferred plan, a tax advantage plan, I would say let's look at why would a person have a tax deferred plan? Like, what are some of the benefits to that, right? Because with everything, there's pros and cons. Everything. I don't care whether it's a current taxable plan where you have to pay taxes every year, a tax deferred plan where you unfortunately get it all on the back end, or tax advantage plan. There's pros and cons, right? So when weighing out the pros and cons, some of the pros with the tax deferred plan, I believe I heard mentioned 401k, i.e. would also be 403b TSP, is if a person is working with an employer and that employer is going to match them and they are planning to stay with that employer for a long period of time, right? Then one might consider contributing to that plan because they are looking at getting a match. Now, again, it's a cost analysis because what you get on the front end, yes, on the back end, you will have to pay taxes. And the three questions I always ask people are, what is taxes based on, your age or your income? We know it to be on our income. Traditionally, do taxes go up or do they go down? Well, traditionally they go up. And when we retire, are we going to need more money today, more money than we have today, or less? Well, by definition, I don't work and I spend money, I'm retired, I'm going to need more money. With that being said, I do not encourage people to put money in tax deferred plans more than what would be matched if they choose to contribute to them, because over and above that, there's no benefit, there's no win to them, right? So if an employer is contributing 5% or matching 5%, my client, I don't want them to do 10% because their employer is only putting in 5. They could do 5 and take that other 5 and put it towards tax advantage. And yes, still to the point of the guest, Christina, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Yeah, the money, no matter what, it's going to grow tax deferred. And when you access it at that time, you will have to pay taxes. For our seniors, there's something else to be aware of that a lot of people, unfortunately, were not aware of. And there's something called RMD. RMD stands for Required Minimum Distribution. And what that means is, let's say you have a person that just doesn't need the money. They've saved well in various forms. They have a well enough assets. And so, they don't need to take the money. Well, when utilizing tax deferred vehicles, you don't have a choice at that RMD period, which they may raise it, but it has traditionally been around 70 and a half. You are mandated to take your money, whether you need it or not. Like literally, you're forced. And if you don't take it, then they take it for you. They penalize you by taking your money. And it's a large chunk. So the tax advantage strategy, you hear things like rich people keep getting richer, broke people keep getting broker, rich people don't pay taxes. Well, the tax advantage strategy, it's a smart way to save, because what happens is you're paying your upfront tax. So, and Tanisha, I heard you say, everybody does, tax deferred. I would actually say, no, not everybody does, because a lot of business owners do not do tax deferred because they're not a part of group plans, right? So not being a part of a group plan, you are then forced to find alternative solutions. That's why Mommies and Money is so popular, right? That's why, Fathers, what you ladies are doing in terms of education and the gentleman is so very powerful, because there's a large market of people out there that want to learn how to manage their own money, that are independent from traditional forms of saving. And so tax advantage strategies, and also for wealthy, but not just people who are very wealthy, people who I heard Laura say earlier, want to become your own money manager. So that tax advantage piece, it allows you to be able to grow money tax deferred. And when you go to access it, it's income tax free. Now, some of the disadvantages of those, we talked about some of the disadvantages of the tax deferred, some of the disadvantages of tax advantage. And there are different tax advantage plans. It's not just one, it's different types. Some might be that you have to qualify. If you have one that's coupled with umbrellas of insurance, you might have to qualify, and everyone can't qualify. If it's a Roth IRA, you have to wait until you're 59 and a half, right, before you can access those funds. So if you want to retire at 45, 50, 55, and if it's 529s and you're saving for your kids' college, well, it can count against you on the FAFSA form. So, utilizing tax advantage strategies is powerful. And I had to step away, but the Grow Up plan, did you guys show the video of that Grow Up plan for the kids? Oh, am I fast forwarding?
That's okay.
So I'm going to not talk about that yet, but that plan right there, that one is boss. And whatever what they're going to show, that one is really, really boss. I started it for my kid when she was 3 months old. I also own it. That's an excellent strategy for someone if they can qualify and fund it properly. So that's all I'll share. Thanks for letting me share.
For my son too. Thank you, Delita. I was just saying, I have one piggybacking off of you. I have one for my son as well. So as Tanisha sets that up so you can see it real quick.
And I have one for my pet. Just joking. just lying with you guys. Just kidding. Just kidding. So I will show you this video. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. And we'll get this party started. Yeah, good?
Yep.
Good, okay. And there's no volume. Okay, hold on.
In the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. So you're ready to start saving for your kids' future. You already understand the power of compound interest over time, so you know the sooner you start, the better. So where should you be saving that money? Let's talk about perhaps the most powerful and least known savings vehicle for kids on the market, Indexed Universal Life, or IUL. IUL stands out against all other savings vehicles in one main area of strength: flexibility. Other financial vehicles lock you into what you can use your savings on, but an IUL can be a first car, a college education, a down payment on a house, a wedding. IUL cash value can be used however, whenever, and on whatever you choose. Plus, since it's built on a financial chassis of life insurance, your child is instantly covered with hundreds of thousands of dollars of permanent life insurance with living benefits, simply as a side benefit of utilizing IUL as your choice of savings vehicle. Now don't freak out. The fact that it's life insurance is actually a good thing. Life insurance cash value comes with a ton of unique side benefits, like your cash value being protected from market losses, cash value growing tax deferred and being accessible tax-free, protection from lawsuits, and IUL cash value is not considered in asset calculations when applying for student loans for college. So, what could one of these policies look like for your kiddo? Let's say you had a baby today, and to take maximum advantage of the power of compound interest over time, you immediately start socking away $100 per month into an IUL. Right away, your child is now covered with $371,000 of permanent life insurance coverage with living benefits. That's a pretty nice little side benefit. And that financial foundation you establish for them today will continue to grow with them over the years and be available throughout their lifetime for whatever they need or want to use it for. Plus, if they don't access that money, right around retirement, their IUL is conservatively projected to hit $1 million of cash value. And at age 65, they could turn on a tax-free income stream of $75,000 per year that will last them the rest of their lives, no matter how long they live. The point is, they have options. IUL is the most flexible savings vehicle for children on the market, and the best time to plant that seed is today.
Yay.
Yay.
So there you go. I wrote one.
Yeah, I definitely want more information on that because, as you know, and I don't want to monopolize this call, but
it's okay, Christina, stop. You're fine.
We'll definitely connect offline. But I mean, that's one of my major concerns is setting my kids up in terms of their future. And so this video was a great example and illustration of, what I have in mind. And when you and I talk, I also want to figure out like appropriate vehicles or instruments for myself as well. to just kind of
Hope you become financially free.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically my thing is this, and I've shared this with you before, and I apologize that I have not, followed through, but I mean, basically what I want is I need help. I need somebody to tell me or give me options on kind of like what Dalitha was saying, these are my goals. And then what recommendations do you have for me to meet those goals? Right. That's kind of what I need in terms of like the little bit of hand holding, because I just really don't have the background to know these things myself, obviously. And so I think that that's where you guys can come into play in terms of helping me navigate through those decisions and what would help me to reach those goals. Now, I say that to say also that's specifically what I'm interested in. I do not I do not want to pursue the route of becoming a part of the campaign. However, I want to be a client of the campaign, if that makes sense. Like I want you guys to help, connect me or put me on the appropriate paths to achieve my goals. Does that make sense?
Christina, that makes perfect. Yes, it makes perfect sense, Christina. It makes perfect sense. And I would definitely make sure that I reach out to you and get a window, a day and a window of time to be able to work with you. And you'd be working with either me, Laura, and of course, Ms. Dalitha will definitely be there and we'll help you with your financial goals. That's what we're here for. That's exactly what we're here for. I mean, like you said, some people don't want to be a part of the campaign, but they want to be a client because they want to make sure that their future and their children's future is going to be taken care of. And that's, as a Black woman, that means a lot to me because that's all I really want us to sit there and actually do for our futures. So yes, ma'am, I'll definitely reach out to you with that.
And Christina, I was clapping because I applaud you for taking that step because it is amazing what you're doing for yourself and for your family. So I am very, very excited and happy for you to do that.
I don't ever do thumbs up, and I'm doing thumbs up for you. Okay. So I don't ever do thumbs up. Like, I think this is the most craziest thing for me. Like it feels weird, but I'm doing thumbs up for you. I wouldn't high five you, but like, can't do that. But I'm super proud of you. And I would definitely be there for it. I'll definitely be there for you, sweetie. Since 6th grade, ride or die. I got you.
Exactly.
I love it.
For life.
Taylor Road for life, man. So.
All right. Well, as we wrap up, I'm so excited about these
your
next
fun
steps.
Facts.
I do have a fun fact. I do have a spotlight today. Let me just prepare that and get it ready. As I do that, Tanisha, do you have any final things to tie up or mention before we go? I know we talked about workshop. I know we talked about coming back for a visit. I know we talked about the fellas. Is there anything that I'm missing?
No, I'll say for what I have, I'll say what I want to say. Because I do believe it's amazing that people go to work every day and still worry about their future. And you have platforms such as Mommies and Money and Fathers and Finance and Singles and Soaring that help one guide you in the right direction. We all know there's a whole bunch of, like I say, propaganda, but ads, and you think that's financial literacy, but it's really like real estate, whatever it is. But to me, I've always had a heartbeat for Black women. I've had a heartbeat for my community, period. And I want us to have a better future. Like I'm the product of not only my mother, but my grandmother and my great grandmother. And I'm literally my ancestors' wildest dreams. And I'm making that step to making sure that I'm financially secure and want to be financially free. I'm going to help pull up the next one right behind me. So thank you so much for, coming on and saying hello. Thank you out there for YouTube world. If you will have all the information on our channel and you can be able to reach us. But other than that, let's do it. And it's our time. Let's do it for us. If not for us, do it for your children.
Amen to that. Delita, did you have one more thing to say? I see your hand up.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
go right ahead.
Thank you for letting me share. I just wanted to address our sister who, was saying, she really wants to take care of her family, and her finances. And she mentioned a campaign. So for those listening in live world, YouTube world, wherever people may see this, Christina, I would encourage you to also attend the workshops to learn. Our campaign is centered on financial education. And so, to her point, being a part of our campaign just means that you take on financial education and financial literacy as something that's relevant, important, and something you want to pursue. It does not mean that you actually provide the services, but you can provide a person. There are people who provide, and then there are also clients. So you will become a client. And therefore, you are part of the 30 million people. Laura, if you hold your button up so she can see it, that button right there, you probably can't read it too much. And Tanisha's is in color, right? The National Campaign for Financial Literacy. So all of our clients are a part of our financial literacy campaign. And then also our representatives who help educate, whether they're teaching the workshops, whether they are providing the services, but also our clients who say, you know what, I want to make sure my family's good. I want to make sure I'm good. I want to make sure I'm saving money. So we applaud you. We congratulate you. And we want to make sure that you can also attend our financial education classes. They are open to the community all across the United States and Canada. And this has been a great night.
Awesome. I love it. And that's exactly what I would like is to be a student, if you will, and attend those workshops and learn more while also being a client. So that sounds like the perfect option for me. So thank you.
Wonderful.
That.
Yes,
awesome,
ma'am.
awesome.
Wonderful.
Laura.
Are we ready? Awesome. Okay, I'm ready to share with you all our Black History Fun Facts Spotlight. And it goes to Miriam Benjamin. She was a Black teacher and inventor. So
is that a
Miriam Benjamin, yes, it is.
Did she invent the chair?
Well, she invented a type of chair.
Okay.
So before we get to that, she briefly attended Howard University's medical school. After passing a competitive civil service examination and working as a government clerk in a number of federal departments, she enrolled in law school at Howard University. Upon graduation, she set herself up in business as a solicitor of patents. So what you see here is the invention that she created. In 1888, she obtained a patent for her invention, the gong and signal chair for hotels. As its name suggests, the chair had both a gong and a signal connected to it. The chair would reduce the expenses of hotels by decreasing the number of waiters and attendants, to add to the convenience and comfort of guests, and to obviate the necessity of hand clapping or calling aloud to obtain the services of pages. The chair worked when the person sitting would press a small button on the back of the chair, which would send a signal to a waiting attendant. A light would illuminate, as well as allowing the attendant to see which guest needed help. The system was eventually adopted by the United States House of Representatives and was a precursor to the signaling system used on airplanes for passengers to seek assistance from flight attendants. Isn't that amazing? But that's not all she did. I know that was a mouthful, but she also did not stop there. On December 4th, 1917, she received a U.S. patent for her sole for footwear. This invention was intended to help with temperature regulation in the foot. So she is one of many African-American women inventors of her time who developed new technology for the home, and it has benefited us still to this day. So thank you, Miriam Benjamin, for being as awesome as you are to provide such an amazing invention for us today.
No one knows, girl. No, I did not know that. I did not know
I
that.
didn't either. I'm
Amazed
that it kind of evolved into what is still going on today on airplanes. So, I mean, that's just mind blown.
That is crazy. Mine is blown. Like that is you can never
Black
say
women
you
are awesome.
You can never say no one can never say a Black woman can't do anything. That's why they scared for us to be a Black president.
Just saying.
Head tilt all day. Okay. Just so we won't go into that. Well, that'll be a whole nother conversation. But that's amazing. Thank you for finding that little piece of information. I did not know about Marion Benjamin, and now that I do, I will always forever remember her, especially because how many shoes I wear and when I go on an air flight. So
I know, right? That's awesome. So that is our time. We went a little over time, which is okay by me. I hope you all enjoyed this segment. Again, click on and like our video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, come back and visit with us, join our conversation, and we will see you guys again next week, 6:30.